Gia, welcome back. Hey, let's go for a walk. Do you see this on the sidewalk? I see food, farinha, beer, cigarettes, and a candle. And notice how the cigarettes are in a certain position, and a glass of water. And that, of course, is an offering, I believe, an offering to an orisha of the Candomblé religion. And I see this quite frequently here in Salvador. Interesting. And I should have said that that yellow, powdery looking food was farofa, not farinha. Farinha is flour, farofa is ground, oh gosh, cassava. Boy, I can really feel that summer is approaching here in the southern hemisphere. It's getting quite warm, getting hot. I don't have quite the pep in my step when I go out for my long walks, and I try to go out either earlier in the morning or later in the afternoon when the sun is not so high. Getting hot. I am not by nature a person who loves hot weather or tropical weather. I like the four seasons. I love fall. I love winter. I love snow. I love spring. I even love summer. But oddly enough, I've spent much of my time in my adult life in the tropics, either in Mexico or in India, and especially here in Brazil. I've acclimatized myself to the tropical weather. I think my blood is thinned. Taking blood thinners for my heart condition helps with that. So I'm not suffering in the heat like I once did. I don't sweat profusely. I'm able to sleep at night as long as I have a fan, a strong fan in front of me. I don't suffer in the heat, but I am, or it is a bit surprising at this late stage of life that I've chosen to live in the tropics. But here I am, and quite happy. I probably wouldn't like it so much if it was excessively humid. And I do not find, at least this part of Brazil, to be excessively humid. It is hot, and it can get humid sometimes, but it's not excessively humid. Like other places I've been in Latin America or in India, or even when I was a young teenager and a child visiting my grandparents in Florida. Now, I find that difficult. But just hot itself, I can deal with that. And another thing that helps me deal with the heat here is that my apartment does not get excessively hot because it's in the back of the building. The sun does not beat down on my windows. I'm on the second floor of the building. So my apartment does not get excessively hot, and that helps a lot too, especially at night when it's time to sleep. I just found this coconut, small coconut that fell out of a tree. I'm always picking things up from nature on my walks here in the city that I can put in my home garden to make my home garden look more natural, rather than just a collection of potted plants. I add interesting looking leaves and sticks and things, rocks and things like this to put around the plants to make it look more like a natural garden. Now, here in the city, there's a limited supply of different kinds of natural objects, but next time I go out into the country, I'm going to look for objects that are more interesting and exotic looking. For work, find a spot for it. When I was at the Bay Shore last week, walking along the shore of the Bay of All Saints, I was looking for interesting things from nature, to add to my garden. I found a skull at the water's edge. I could not identify what kind of an animal it was. It was a strange looking skull, but it was interesting. And so I picked it up and brought it home and put it in the garden. But after a few days, it started to creep me out because it does have a strange shape with these strange ear bones and tiny beady eyes. And then it started to creep me out so much that I decided to hide it. I didn't want to stare at that creepy skull anymore. I don't have a problem with skulls, animal skulls, that is. I used to have some in my home up in California. There was a interesting shop called Paxton Gate in my neighborhood that sold animal bones and skulls and fossils. None of them killed. All of them found, or they were roadkill, or animals that died of natural causes. So I didn't feel guilty or bad about acquiring them, and they'd be exotic animals, beautiful skulls. But that skull I picked up here in Salvador by the Bay was just a little too creepy for my taste. Can you hear that music behind me? There's always live music in Salvador. This is a group that's doing a practice for Carnaval. Always live music somewhere in Salvador, everywhere in Salvador. At that gorgeous view of the South Atlantic Ocean. We're just a few blocks from my apartment. I feel like I'm so lucky to live here in paradise. Never cease to say that, do I? Look at that beautiful view down there. Farol de Baja neighborhood. And speaking of Carnaval, today, by the way, is the 2nd of November, which means it's Dia de los Muertos in sunny Mexico. Here it's called Dia dos Difuntos, but it's not celebrated in the same way. It is a national holiday, but it has nothing of the pageantry and the mysticism of the Dia de los Muertos in Mexico. But I'll take a holiday. But I would just mention Carnaval. What are my plans for Carnaval? It's early November now, and Carnival is going to be happening in February, so it's not that far off. I mentioned before that I'm a little bit burned out on Carnival after participating in so many carnivals, and I am, after all, 71 years old. I still plan to dip my feet in. I will not be participating in all 7 days, that's for sure, but I only live 2 blocks off the Carnival route, so it's impossible to avoid unless I were to leave town, which I'm not going to. I think what I'm going to do is participate 1 or 2 days. I am going to be participating with the Filhos de Ganji Carnaval Bloco, like I have every previous year. Eliamar are going to share a costume. He loves the Filhos de Ganji, but because he'll be working every other day, he can't participate all 7 days as much as he would love to. So on a couple of his days off, I am going to wear the costume. I'm paying for half of it. It's 700 reais, which is what? Oh God, off the top of my head, somewhere around $130. And we'll be sharing the costume. I've warned him, don't let it get dirty. Don't walk in the mud, because the costume is always white and light blue colored, so easily gets dirty. I warned him about that. So I'll be parading with the Filhos de Ganji again this year, but only for 2 days, and I never last for more than 2 hours, even though it goes on for many hours. After about 2 hours, I peel off. I don't have the patience, or my eardrums don't have the stamina, I guess. But at least I'll be participating. Every time I walk out my door, I'll be participating whether I want to or not. It's impossible to live in this neighborhood and not participate. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from Carnaval. On the contrary, everybody should experience Carnaval at least once, Carnival in Brazil, I should say, at least once or twice or many times. but I've experienced it, I don't know, 20 times, and I'm 71 years old. Been there, done that many times. If you're younger or young at heart, do experience it, but I've had my fill mostly. But I know from past experience, when Carnival actually arrives, I'm not going to completely want to miss it. Well, I can't. As I just said, I live right on top of it. But I am going to participate in a limited way as a Filho de Gandhi. I just mentioned today is the 2nd of November, which means it's Dia de los Muertos in Mexico. If you ever get a chance to be in Mexico on Dia de los Muertos, especially in the city and state of Oaxaca, and even Mexico City, do it. It's unforgettable. It's magical. And also, in my hometown in the United States, in San Francisco, California, Dia de los Muertos is also magical. Do try to participate in that too. Beijo. Ciao.